Do you feel like you don't speak enough Spanish? That you need to know more words? Then stick around. With these lessons, you'll pick up some of the most common words in just a few minutes. Now, this video is a small portion of our learning program. To get the full lessons, translations, and Fluency Fast study tools, click the link in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account.
Hi, my name is Rosa, and today we'll be doing the top 25 adjectives in Spanish. So let's begin. Fácil, easy. Washing dishes is easy. Lavar los platos es fácil. Hablar español es fácil. Speaking Spanish is easy. Memorizing things is easy for me. Memorizar cosas es fácil para mí. Difícil, difficult. The next one is difícil, difficult. Recordar la letra de las canciones es difícil. Remember lyrics of songs is difficult. Grande, large. Grande, which means large. El patio de su casa es muy grande. The patio of his house is very large. Él comió una hamburguesa grande de un bocado. He ate a large burger in one bite. Pequeño, small. The next one is pequeño, which means small. Este plato es muy pequeño para mí. This dish is very small for me. These pants are small for me. Estos pantalones me quedan pequeños. Joven, young. The next one is joven, which means young. Todos dicen que mi madre parece muy joven. Everyone says that my mother looks very young. Me gustaría ser joven eternamente. I would like to be young forever. Viejo, old. Esta ropa es muy vieja. These clothes are very old. He looks much older because he smokes a lot. Él parece mucho más viejo porque fuma demasiado. Nuevo, new. The next one is nuevo, which means new. Este reloj es nuevo. This clock is new. ¿Te gusta tu nuevo trabajo? Do you like your new job? Bueno, good. This food is very good. Esta comida está muy buena. The weather is not very good today. El tiempo no es muy bueno hoy. Malo, bad. The next one is malo, which means bad. The witch in that tale is very bad. La bruja en ese cuento es muy mala. Do you think there are good and bad people? ¿Piensas que hay gente buena y mala? Este estofado está muy malo. This stew is very bad. Poco, little bit. The next one is poco, which means a little bit. I want a bit of this, please. ¿Quiere un poco de eso, por favor? You eat too little. Comes demasiado poco. Mucho, a lot of. ¿Cocinaste mucha comida? You cooked a lot of food. Me gustaría tener mucho tiempo. I would like to have lots of time. Te quiero mucho. I like you a lot. Claro, clear. It's very clear what this means. Está muy claro lo que significa. Is everything clear? ¿Está todo claro? Oscuro, dark. Oscuro, which means dark. Come to the dark side. Ven al lado oscuro. ¿Te da miedo cuando está muy oscuro? Are you scared when it's too dark? Importante, important. My friends are very important to me. Mis amigos son muy importantes para mí. Now is very important. El ahora es muy importante. Libre, free. Libre, which means free. Este asiento está libre. This seat is free. Quiero ser libre como un pájaro. I want to be free as a bird. Alto, high. Alto, which means high. Este edificio es muy alto. This building is very high. The price is very high. El precio está muy alto. Bajo, low. Bajo, which means low. El techo es muy bajo. The roof is very low. Lejos, far. The next one is lejos, which means far. Mi casa está muy lejos de aquí. My house is very far from here. Cerca, close. The next one is cerca, which means close. There's a supermarket close to my house. Hay un supermercado cerca de mi casa. Interesante, interesting. Learning about other cultures is interesting. Aprender de otras culturas es interesante. It would be interesting to know his story. Sería interesante conocer su historia. Aburrido, boring. The next word is aburrido, which means boring. My English teacher used to be very boring. Mi profesora de inglés era muy aburrida. Cleaning is boring. Limpiar es aburrido. Largo, long. The next one is largo, which means long. Me gustan las faldas largas. I like long skirts. Esta carretera es muy larga. This road is very long. Corto, short. The next one is corto, which means short, but we use this with objects, but not with people. Like we would say a person is bajo, but not corto. This composition is very short. Esta redacción es muy corta. Limpio, clean. The next one is limpio, which means clean. Mi habitación nunca está limpia según mi madre. My room is never clean to my mother. Sucio, dirty. The next word is sucio, which means dirty. My hair is very dirty. I need to wash it. Mi pelo está muy sucio. Necesito lavarlo. When I played outside, I used to get very dirty. Cuando jugaba afuera, solía ensuciarme mucho. So this is the end of today's top 25 adjectives in Spanish. I hope you learned something useful and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye. Hi, my name is Rosa, and today we'll be doing the top 25 nouns in Spanish. So let's begin. Nombre, name. The first one is nombre, which means name. My name is Rosa. Mi nombre es Rosa. ¿Cuál es tu nombre? What's your name? The name of my favorite artist is Deftones. El nombre de mi artista favorito es Deftones. Día, day. The next one is día, which means day. Hoy es un buen día. Today it's a good day. My favorite day of the week is Saturday. Mi día favorito de la semana es el sábado. Vida, life. The next one is vida, which means life. Vive la vida, live the life. Año, year. The next one is año, which means year. I was born in the year 1991. Nací en el año 1991. I would like to live in the 20s. Me gustaría vivir en los años 20. This year I want to travel to the United States. Este año quiero viajar a los Estados Unidos. I would like to go to New York. Hora, time. The next one is hora, which means time, an hour. ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? Ahora es la hora del desayuno. Now it's time for breakfast. Estate a la hora allí. Be on time there. Momento, moment. The next one is momento, which is moment. Wait a moment. Espera un momento. Live the moment. Vive el momento. Lugar, place. The next one is lugar, which means place. ¿Cuál es tu lugar favorito? What is your favorite place? Mi lugar favorito de España es Barcelona. My favorite place in Spain is Barcelona. Parte, part. The next one is parte, which means part. Esto es parte de la historia. This is part of the story. Parte de mí quiere volver a estudiar y parte de mí no. Part of me wants to go back to study and part of me doesn't. Tiempo, time. The next one is tiempo, which means time or also weather. What's the weather like? ¿Qué tiempo hace? Her running time was 20 minutes. Su tiempo de carrera fue de 20 minutos. El tiempo pasa muy rápido. Time passes by very quickly. Casa, house, home. The next one is casa, which means house and home. I've never lived in a house. Nunca he vivido en una casa. I would like to live in a beach house. Me gustaría vivir en una casa de playa. Hoy, today. The next one is hoy, which means today. Hoy va a llover. Today it's going to rain. Today I had pancakes for breakfast. Hoy comí tortitas por el desayuno. Hoy tengo muchas cosas que hacer. Today I have lots of things to do. Ayer, yesterday. The next one is ayer, which means yesterday. Ayer estuve grabando otros vídeos. Yesterday I was recording other videos. Yesterday is history. El ayer es historia. Mañana, morning, tomorrow. The next one is mañana, which means morning and also tomorrow. Mañana es mi día libre. Tomorrow it's my day off. Lo primero que hago cuando me levanto por la mañana es desayunar. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is having breakfast. El mañana es un misterio. Tomorrow is a mystery. Semana, week. The next one is semana, which means week. Esta semana estoy viajando. This week I'm traveling. La semana que viene voy a comer los donuts fritos de mi madre. Next week I'm going to eat my mother's fried donuts. Mes, month. The next one is mes, which means month. Mi mes preferido es mayo. My favorite month is May. El mes que viene quiero conseguir mi permiso de conducir. Next month I want to get my driver's license. Hombre, man. The next one is hombre, which means man. Mankind has made a great progress in technology. El hombre ha hecho un enorme progreso en tecnología. Mujer, woman. The next one is mujer, which means woman. Esa mujer trabaja demasiado. That woman works too much. El nombre de su mujer es María. His wife's name is María. Señor, gentleman. The next one is señor, which means gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, señoras y señores. País, country. País, which means country. What's your favorite country? ¿Cuál es tu país preferido? Este país es muy diferente del mío. This country is very different from mine. I like the country Thailand because it has great food. Me gusta el país Tailandia porque su comida es increíble. Mundo, world. The next word is mundo, which means world. When you're, for example, visiting another country and you meet someone from your own country, you can say, el mundo es un pañuelo, the world is a handkerchief, meaning that the world is too small. No me lo creo. I can't believe it. The world is a handkerchief. The world goes round and round. El mundo gira y gira. Ay. Trabajo, work, job. Trabajo, which means work and job. ¿Cuál es tu trabajo? What is your job? Ay. In Spain, a job is normally 40 hours a week. En España, un trabajo normalmente es de 40 horas a la semana. A job that I would like to do would be an illustrator. Persona, person. The next one is persona, which means person. Eres mi persona preferida. You're my favorite person. I am a shy person. Soy una persona tímida. Cosa, thing. The next one is cosa, which means thing. Tengo muchas cosas que hacer. I've got a lot of things to do. The thing I like most about this place is the service. La cosa que me gusta más de este sitio es el servicio. Ciudad, city. The next one is ciudad, which means city. Mi ciudad no es muy grande. My city is not very big. Very big cities can be a bit stressful for me. Las ciudades muy grandes pueden ser un poco estresantes para mí. Agua, water. The next one is agua, which means water. Tu cuerpo es 2/3 de agua. Your body is 2/3 of water. Bring a bottle of water with you when you exercise. Lleva una botella de agua cuando hagas ejercicio. Música, music. The next one is música, which means music. Hace algunos años solo escuchaba música hardcore. Some years ago, I only listened to hardcore music. And this is the end of today's Top 25 Nouns in Spanish. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something useful today. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye. The world is a handkerchief.
Now, if you're wondering how to remember these words forever so that you can start speaking more and more, here's how. 1. Review them with our spaced repetition flashcards. Our flashcards will drill these words into your long-term memory. 2. Save the words to our word bank, your personal collection of words, where you can print out physical study sheets. And 3. Watch our looped vocabulary slideshows on repeat until you understand every word. You'll find these tools inside our learning program. Just click the link in the description to get them.
Hi everybody, I'm Rosa from SpanishPod101.com. Do you know how to say I love you in Spanish? In this lesson, you'll learn 3 different ways to say I love you and a special phrase for Valentine's Day. Let's start with the most common phrase. Te amo. Te amo. I love you. This phrase is direct. You should use it only when you are confessing your love. If you want to be less direct, you can use this phrase. Significas mucho para mí. Significas mucho para mí. It means, you mean so much to me. Now, if you want to be more romantic in expressing your love for someone, you can say this phrase. Las palabras no pueden describir mi amor por ti. Las palabras no pueden describir mi amor por ti. It means, words cannot describe my love for you. Now you know 3 different ways to say I love you in Spanish. And here's one more. What if you want to spend Valentine's Day with someone special? In that case, you can say, ¿Quieres ser mi Valentín? ¿Quieres ser mi Valentín? It means, will you be my Valentine? Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. Listen to the expression and repeat after me. I love you. Te amo. Te amo. You mean so much to me. Significas mucho para mí. Significas mucho para mí. Words cannot describe my love for you. Las palabras no pueden describir mi amor por ti. Las palabras no pueden describir mi amor por ti. Will you be my Valentine? ¿Quieres ser mi Valentín? ¿Quieres ser mi Valentín? Well done! Here's a fun fact. Do you know which songs are most often dedicated to lovers on Valentine's Day in Spain? Some of the most frequently dedicated songs by people in love on this day are Me Enamora by Juanes, Juntos by Paloma San Basilio, and Si Tú No Estás by El Sueño de Morfeo. You just learned 3 different ways to say I love you in Spanish, and 1 special phrase for Valentine's Day. Also, don't forget to download your free cheat sheet on how to be a good lover in Spain, including words for romance, compliments, and pickup lines. Check out the description below and go to SpanishPod101.com now. I'll see you next time. Nos vemos.
Okay. Yes.
No. Nos vemos. How are your Spanish listening skills? First, you'll see an image and hear the question in Spanish. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end.
Un hombre y una mujer están viendo el menú en un restaurante. ¿Qué ordenó el hombre?
¿Qué te gustaría ordenar?
Esta pizza se ve deliciosa. La ordenaré.
Yo comí pizza ayer, así que
Ay, entonces, ¿cómo ves esta hamburguesa?
suena bien. La ordenaré.
¿Qué ordenó el hombre? Un hombre y una mujer están viendo el menú en un restaurante. ¿Qué ordenó el hombre?
¿Qué te gustaría ordenar?
Esta pizza se ve deliciosa. La ordenaré.
Yo comí pizza ayer, así que
Ay, entonces, ¿cómo ves esta hamburguesa?
suena bien. La ordenaré.
Did you get it right? I hope you learned something from this quiz. Let us know if you have any questions. See you next time!
Hi everyone! Do you know how to say I love you in Spanish? In this lesson, you'll learn 3 different ways to say it. Let's start with how to express your feelings to your loved one.
Te amo. Te amo. Te amo.
Or if you want to explain those butterflies in your stomach, you can say
Me estoy enamorando de ti. Me estoy enamorando de ti. Me estoy enamorando de ti.
And when you feel that I love you is not enough, you can say
Las palabras no pueden describir mi amor por ti. Las palabras no pueden describir mi amor por ti. Las palabras no pueden describir mi amor por ti.
You just learned 3 different ways to say I love you in Spanish. And if you're interested in learning more, don't forget to download your free Romance and Love cheat sheet, which includes romantic words, compliments, and pickup lines. Check out the description below and go to SpanishPod101.com now. See you next time!
Remember, here's what you can do to learn all of these words by heart. Drill these words with our spaced repetition flashcards, which will help cement these words into your long-term memory. Save them to the Word Bank, your personal vocabulary collection, where you can print out your own study sheets, or review the words with our looped vocabulary slideshow, and play it until you know all of the words. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to get these lessons and study tools.
Hola a todos, soy Lucía. Hi everybody, I am Lucia. Welcome to SpanishPod101.com. Español en 3 minutos, the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn Spanish. In the last lesson, we learned some words used when apologizing in Spanish, including disculpe and perdón. In this lesson, we are going to learn numbers in Spanish. Yes, numbers. Los números, from 1 to 10. And you are going to learn them in only 3 minutes. 3 minutos. Are you ready? Let's start. 1, 1. 2, 2. 3, 3. 4, 4. 5, 5. 6, 6. 7, 7. 8, 8. 9, 9. 10, 10. Okay, now repeat after me. I will say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great job! What's before uno? Do you know? It's similar to English, but has a slightly different pronunciation. Cero. Cero. You don't have any more excuses. Now, you can give your phone number to friends in Spanish. Let's do it together. We will use the phrase mi número es, which means my number is. Mi número es. Mi número es 9, 3, 5, 5, 4, 2, 7, 6, 1, 8. Now it's time for Lucia's insights. When we go to the post office in Peru, we sometimes have to stand in line with a number. They will scream número uno, número dos, and so on. Learn your numbers well so you can be ready. Do you know the Spanish word for 100? Here is a hint. It's similar to a common English word. In the next lesson, we are going to learn the numbers from 11 to 100 in Spanish. Your task now is to practice the number we study in this lesson, from 1 to 10. Hasta la próxima. See you soon. Hola a todos, soy Lucía. Hi everyone, I am Lucía. Welcome to SpanishPod101.com. Español en 3 minutos, the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn Spanish. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in Spanish. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people. ¿Están listos? Are you ready? Empecemos. Let's start. There are several ways to thank someone. Let's start with the easiest. It's just one word. Gracias. Gracias. Gracias means thank you. To say thank you very much, you just need to add muchas before it. Muchas means very or a lot. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. For a simple thanks, gracias will be enough. If you want to say more than just thanks, muchas gracias is good to use. Now, how do you respond to thank you in Spanish? It's easy. The most common way to say you're welcome is de nada. De nada. Nada means nothing. So, de nada literally means it's nothing. So we use it to mean you're welcome. So when someone says gracias to you, you can simply reply with de nada. Now it's time for Lucia's insights. If you're not sure about whether to use gracias or muchas gracias, keep it simple is always your safest bet. You don't have to worry about formal or informal situations. Gracias can be used with just about anyone, anywhere, and at any time. Do you know how to say goodbye to your friends in Spanish? In our next lesson, we will learn these and other greetings. Hasta la próxima. See you then.
In this video, you'll learn 20 of the most common words and phrases in Spanish. Hi everybody, my name is Rosa. Welcome to the 800 Core Spanish Words and Phrases video series. This series will teach you the 800 most common words and phrases in Spanish. But there's a twist. With each new lesson in this series, we'll include the previous lessons at the end. So after you've learned the new words and phrases, stick around and review what you learned in previous lessons. Reviewing is one of the most important parts of learning a language. You can also get the full list right now at SpanishPod101.com. Click the link in the description to access more example sentences, create your own flashcard deck, and finally master Spanish. Okay, let's get started. First is hola. Hello. Hola. Hola. Hello. Cuando conozco a alguien por primera vez, me gusta decir hola. When I first meet someone, I like to say hello. Cuando conozco a alguien por primera vez, me gusta decir hola. Disculpe. Excuse me. Disculpe. Disculpe. Excuse me. Disculpe, me gustaría ir al ayuntamiento. Excuse me, I'd like to go to the city hall. Disculpe, me gustaría ir al ayuntamiento. Lo siento. I'm sorry. Lo siento. Lo siento. I'm sorry. Lo siento. no está aquí ahora mismo. I'm sorry, he's not here right now. Lo siento, no está aquí ahora mismo. Buenas noches. Good night. Buenas noches. Buenas noches. Good night. Los niños vienen a la planta de abajo para decirnos buenas noches. The kids come downstairs to tell us good night. Los niños vienen a la planta de abajo para decirnos buenas noches. Encantado de conocerte. Nice to meet you. Encantado de conocerte. Encantado de conocerte. Nice to meet you. Encantado de conocerle, señor. Nice to meet you, sir. Encantado de conocerle, señor. ¿Cómo estás? How are you? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? How are you? ¿Qué hay de nuevo? ¿Cómo estás? What's new? How are you? ¿Qué hay de nuevo? ¿Cómo estás? Sí. Yes. Sí. Sí. Yes. Sí. Está buenísimo. Yes. It's delicious. Sí. Está buenísimo. No. 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 Señal de no. No sign. Señal de no. Gracias. Thank you. Gracias. Gracias. Thank you. Gracias por venir. Thank you for coming. Gracias por venir. Me llamo. I'm name. Me llamo. Me llamo. I'm name. Me llamo John. I'm John. Me llamo John. Adiós. Goodbye. Adiós. Adiós. Goodbye. Estaba triste por decirle adiós a su novio. She was sad to say goodbye to her boyfriend. Estaba triste por decirle adiós a su novio. Malo. Bad. Malo. Malo. Bad. El hombre es malo. The man is bad. El hombre es malo. Bueno. Good. Bueno. Bueno. Good. Las verduras son buenas para ti. Vegetables are good for you. Las verduras son buenas para ti. Guapa. Pretty. Guapa. Guapa. Pretty. Es guapa. She is pretty. Es guapa. Feo. Ugly. Feo. Feo. Ugly. Rostro feo. Ugly face. Rostro feo. Fácil. Easy. Fácil. Fácil. Easy. Decisión fácil. Easy decision. Decisión fácil. Difícil. Difficult. Difícil. Difícil. Difficult. Muy difícil. Very difficult. Muy difícil. Cerca. Near. Cerca. Cerca. Near. La manzana está cerca de la naranja. The apple is near the orange. La manzana está cerca de la naranja. Lejos. Far. Lejos. Lejos. Far. La mujer está viendo algo a lo lejos. The woman is looking at something far away. La mujer está viendo algo a lo lejos. Pequeño. Small. Pequeño. Pequeño. Small. Muy pequeña. Very small. Muy pequeña. Remember, the goal of this series is to build a vocabulary of the 800 most common words and phrases in Spanish. If that sounds like a lot, don't worry, we can help you. Click the link in the description to access the full list. You'll also get example sentences, custom flashcard text, and more learning resources at SpanishPod101.com. See you next time. Adiós.
Hola, soy Brenda, tu profesora de español. Hoy vamos a ver una de las diferencias entre el pretérito y el imperfecto. Today, we're going to have a look at one of the differences between the pretérito and el imperfecto. As you know, we have two different Spanish tenses for the simple past in Spanish, and that is the pretérito or pasado simple and the imperfecto. So one of the main differences that I always tell my students is that el pretérito is going to move the story forward. The story. Is that the pretérito is going to move the story forward. So the pretérito is the one that is going to tell the story. This happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. On the other hand, el imperfecto is going to describe in a story, is going to describe the setting, how the characters, who was involved in the story, what was the day like? What was that person like? Who were you with? What were you feeling? So anything that is a description in a story in the past will use the imperfecto and not the pretérito. That's the main difference. So with the imperfecto, we're going to get information and we're going to describe the setting, the time, the people, the feelings, everything that is related to the description of the story. And with the pretérito, what we are going to do is move the story forward. We're going to tell the story. The pretérito will say what happened, and the imperfecto will say who was there, where were you, is going to set up the story. Have a look at this example. Eran las 2 de la mañana. Hacía mucho frío y llovía. Estaba con Romina en una habitación muy oscura que tenía muy poca luz. De repente escuchamos un ruido muy fuerte. Con miedo caminamos hasta la cocina. Encendimos la luz y vimos al gato del vecino. ¡Qué susto! Muy bien, so as you can see in this example, at the beginning I was describing the story, the setting of the story. What time it was, eran las 2 de la mañana. What was the weather like? Hacía frío y llovía. Who I was with, estaba con Romina. Where were we? En una habitación muy oscura que tenía poca luz. So I'm describing the room. Can you see? Now I have a question for you. What happened? Up until that point, absolutely nothing. We're just describing the setting, and that's why we are using the imperfecto. Now is when the story starts, and I'm going to tell you what actually happened, and I'm going to use the pretérito for that. I said, de repente. That's a great clue that will tell us specifically that we're going to use the pretérito. We're talking about a story, something that happened. De repente, escuchamos un ruido. We heard a noise. Okay, that's something that happened, number one. Caminamos hasta la cocina. Okay, so we walked there. Encendimos la luz. We turned the light on. Vimos al gato del vecino. We saw the neighbor's cat. So as you can see, all these actions were in the pretérito because we're telling the story, we're moving the story forward, we're telling you what happened. Muy bien, estudiantes. I really hope that you can understand a little bit better this aspect and the main differences in storytelling specifically when we use the pretérito versus when we use the imperfecto. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next class. Adiós.
Hi, welcome to Introduction to Spanish. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Leah.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Spanish grammar. Word order refers to the order in which words are structured to form a sentence in a given language. Consider the English sentence, I read books. If we break down the English sentence, I read books, we can see that the subject I is presented first, followed by the verb read, and then finally the object books is positioned last. The basic word order for English, then, is subject, verb, object, or SVO for short.
Now, let's compare that same sentence, I read books, in Spanish. Yo leo libros. If we break down the Spanish sentence, we get the subject, yo, meaning I. Then comes the verb, leo, meaning read. And finally, we have the object, libros, meaning books. The word order for basic Spanish, then, is subject, verb, object, or SVO for short.
As you can see, the word order for sentences in Spanish is the same as that of English. This means that you can essentially swap out English words for Spanish words in an English sentence to convert it to Spanish. So imagine you wanted to say, I ate an apple, but in Spanish. Just swap out the words.
I in Spanish is yo. Ate in Spanish is comí. An is una, and apple is manzana. Altogether, it's yo comí una manzana.
So, I ate an apple in Spanish is...
Yo comí una manzana.
You can form nearly all basic sentences in Spanish just by following the SVO word order. We just saw how easy it was to form basic sentences in Spanish and how similar it was to forming basic English sentences. Luckily, it's actually even easier to form sentences in Spanish than it is in English. That's because Spanish is much more flexible when it comes to word order compared to English. Let's go back to the two examples we used earlier. More often than not, if we wanted to say, I read books and I ate an apple in Spanish, we would not usually say,
Yo leo libros. Yo comí una manzana.
but instead we would just say,
Leo libros. Comí una manzana.
Notice how the subject I is omitted from the sentence. This is how most Spanish sentences are constructed and spoken in real life.
When it's clear who or what the subject is, most Spanish speakers would omit the subject altogether. Yo leo libros and yo comí una manzana would only be used if the subject is unclear or if you wanted to place a stronger emphasis on the subject, as if to say, I am the one who reads books, or I was the one who ate the apple.
So, most of the time, we can actually express any simple action in Spanish with just two words, the verb and the object in Spanish. So far, we've only looked at affirmative sentences in Spanish. But what if you wanted to make the sentence negative?
Well, that's very easy as well. All you have to do is just add no before the verb and that's it.
So, I don't read books would be
No leo libros. Same thing for I didn't eat an apple. Just add no before the verb. No comí una manzana. And that's all there is to it.
Once again, it's much simpler to form questions in Spanish than it is in English.
There's actually a variety of different methods of forming a question in Spanish. Let's go through some of them. Will seem a little strange if we ask our own selves a question in Spanish. So let's introduce a new subject. Let's go with Juan, a very typical Spanish name. So instead of I read books, we now have Juan reads books. Juan lee libros.
The simplest way we can turn that statement into a question is by just raising our intonation at the end of the sentence.
Juan lee libros? Meaning, does Juan read books?
In conversation, we just need to raise the intonation at the end to express that it's a question. In writing, however, we have to include the question mark at the end, just like in English. But unlike English, questions in Spanish are marked with an inverted question mark at the beginning of the question as well.
Juan lee libros?
Another simple way we can turn a statement into a question is by adding a question tag at the end of a sentence. One question tag in English, for example, is right? Something something statement, right? It works in exactly the same way in Spanish.
Juan lee libros, no? Juan reads books, doesn't he?
The final way to make a sentence in Spanish is to actually switch the verb and the subject. So statements in Spanish would normally be SVO, but to formulate a question, it'll be VSO. The verb and subject are switched.
¿Lee Juan libros? Meaning, does Juan read books?
All of these questions mean the same thing, but they're not completely identical. There are tiny nuances that go along with the method you use to formulate a question.
The first and last examples appear to have exactly the same meaning, but Juan lee libros places a greater emphasis on Juan because the subject appears first in the sentence, as opposed to lee Juan libros, where the emphasis is on the verb.
As you can see, there are many ways to form basic questions in Spanish. In this lesson, you learned about the word order of Spanish, how to form affirmative and negative sentences, about the omission of the subject, and how to form questions. We've covered only the very basics of Spanish grammar. If you're interested in learning more, check out our Spanish in 3 Minutes video series. In that course, we teach you useful phrases while covering the fundamentals of Spanish grammar, and each lesson is only 3 minutes long. In the next lesson, we'll introduce you to the basics of Spanish writing. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Bye!
Hi, my name is Rosa, and today we will be doing the top 25 phrases in Spanish. So the first one is Hola, hello. Hola, which means hello. Hola is a very casual way to greet someone, so you can say hola to your friends, and hola to your family, and hola to everyone. Adios, goodbye. Adios is goodbye. I don't know why, but to me, adios sounds a bit harsh, so I don't really like saying adios. It sounds like you're not going to see that person again, maybe. So instead of adios, I would maybe use hasta luego, which is see you later. Buenos días, good morning. The next one is buenos días, which is good morning. Yep, you say it when you see someone in the morning. So, buenos días, buenas tardes, good afternoon. Buenas tardes, which is good afternoon. Buenas tardes is used from 12 p.m. on. So yeah, maybe you are having lunch and you see someone, so you say, buenas tardes, buenas noches, good night. The next one is buenas noches, which means good night. Say like goodbye. When you are going to sleep, you say buenas noches. Is the last thing you say. Buenas noches. Sí, yes. The next phrase is sí, which means yes. For example, if someone asks me, do you want a slice of cheesecake? I would say sí. No, no. The next phrase is no, which means no. For example, do you want to do your homework? No. Nos vemos. See you later. The next one is nos vemos, which is see you later. Very casual. So yeah, you can say it to your friends or yeah, to your family, whatever, when you want to say like goodbye, see you soon. Hasta mañana. See you tomorrow. The next one is hasta mañana, which means see you tomorrow. For example, if you are at the university and you want to say goodbye to your friends, which you won't be seeing until tomorrow, you would say hasta mañana. ¿Cuál es tu nombre? What is your name? So the next phrase is ¿cuál es tu nombre? Which means what is your name? Mi nombre es Rosa. And yep, what is your name? Tell me. Yo soy Rosa. I am Rosa. The next phrase is yo soy plus your name. So in my case, yo soy Rosa. And it means I am Rosa. What's your name? Encantado de conocerle. Nice to meet you. The next phrase is encantado de conocerle, which is nice to meet you. But the thing is that encantado de conocerle is a bit formal. So if you want to say it to your friends or, I don't know, family, you could say encantado de conocerte. Encantada de conocerte. Gracias. Thank you. The next phrase is gracias, which is thank you. If you want to say thank you very much, you say muchas gracias. Thank you for watching this video. Gracias por ver este video. Thank you. De nada. You're welcome. And the next phrase is de nada, which means you're welcome. So yep, whenever someone says thank you to you, make sure to say de nada. No hay de qué. Don't mention it. The next phrase is no hay de qué. Don't mention it. So if you do a favor to someone and that someone says thank you to you, gracias, you could say no hay de qué. Por favor, please. The next one is por favor, which means please. So if you want to ask for a favor to someone, you would say por favor. Por favor, suscribiros a este canal. Please subscribe to this channel. Perdón. Sorry. The next one is perdón, which is sorry. If you haven't heard something properly and you want the other person to repeat it, you can say perdón. Lo siento. Sorry. The next one is lo siento. I'm sorry. So if you did something wrong, that's what you say. So, for example, if you get late to class, you would say to the teacher, lo siento. Bienvenidos. Welcome. The next one is bienvenidos, which is welcome. Bienvenido. If someone is coming to your house, you can say bienvenidos. ¿Cómo estás? How are you? The next one is ¿cómo estás?, which means how are you? It's not a formal way to say it, but maybe a more informal way would be ¿qué tal? But yeah, I think you can use ¿cómo estás?, like with almost everyone. Like sometimes when you ask ¿cómo estás?, you want like a more in-depth answer. Like you don't want a simple I'm fine, but you really want to know how that person is. But maybe ¿qué tal? Is more casual and it's just like, you just want to hear I'm fine, thank you. For example, if you ask someone ¿cómo estás?, that person could tell you I'm not very good, I lost my job and I'm trying to find a new one, but something like that. ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? The next one is ¿qué hora es? What time is it? So now it's 4 o'clock, las 4 en punto. ¿Cuánto es? How much? The next one is ¿cuánto es? How much? So when you enter a shop and you want to know the price of something, you can say ¿cuánto es? Also, you can say ¿cuánto cuesta? It's the same thing. ¿Qué es eso? What is that? The next one is ¿qué es eso? What is that? Yeah, you can point at something and ask ¿qué es eso? ¿En dónde está el baño? Where is the bathroom? The next one is ¿en dónde está el baño? Where is the bathroom? Yeah, very useful phrase to know. So, for example, if you are in a restaurant and you want to go to the bathroom, you can ask the waiter, ¿dónde está el baño? And then the waiter indicates you and yeah, you go to the bathroom. No lo comprendo. I don't understand. The next one is no lo comprendo, which is I don't understand it. If someone is talking to you and you are a bit lost, you can say lo siento, sorry, no lo comprendo, I don't understand. If they are nice, they will try to explain it better to you. Also, instead of comprendo, you can also say entiendo. So, no lo entiendo. It will be the same thing. This is the end. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed these top 25 phrases in Spanish and don't forget to subscribe. Bye! I am a bit shy, I don't know.
Welcome to SpanishPod101.com. Español en 3 minutos. The fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn Spanish. Hola, soy Lucia. Mucho gusto. Hi, I'm Lucia. Nice to meet you. In this series, we're going to learn basic Spanish phrases. It's super easy and it only takes 3 minutes. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to introduce yourself in Spanish. You will be surprised at how easy it is. Are you ready? Listen again to my introduction. Hola, soy Lucia. Mucho gusto. Hi, I'm Lucia. Nice to meet you. Hola, soy Lucia. Mucho gusto. The first word is hola, which means hi or hello. After that comes soy, which means I am. Hola, soy, and then your name. Hola, soy Lucia means hi, I'm Lucia. Finally, say mucho gusto, which means nice to meet you. So all together it is, hola, soy Lucia, mucho gusto. Hi, I'm Lucia, nice to meet you. It's a polite and common way to greet someone. There is also another way to say your name. Instead of soy Lucia, you could say me llamo Lucia. Me llamo literally means I call myself, but we use it to mean my name is. Hola, me llamo Lucia. Mucho gusto. Hi, my name is Lucia. Nice to meet you. Hola, me llamo Lucia. Mucho gusto. Again, let's take a look at these 2 ways to introduce yourself. Hola, soy Lucia. Mucho gusto. Hi, I'm Lucia. Nice to meet you. Hola, me llamo Lucia. Mucho gusto. Hi, my name is Lucia. Nice to meet you. Now it's time for Lucia's Insights. People in Spanish-speaking countries greet each other by shaking hands. But depending on the situation, we often kiss each other on the cheek. So don't be surprised if this happens to you. Do you know how we say thank you in Spanish? You will learn how to say these and many other words in the next lesson. Hasta la próxima. See you then. Hola a todos, soy Lucia. Hi everybody, I'm Lucia. Welcome to SpanishPod101.com. Español en 3 minutos. The fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn Spanish. In the last lesson, we learned the most common greeting in Spanish. Do you remember them? In this lesson, we are going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you're in a situation where you need help in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. Here is a formal way to say it. ¿Habla inglés? habla inglés? Again, this means, do you speak English? The word habla is a form of the verb hablar, which means to speak. This is the formal way to say you speak. Hablar is known as a AR verb because it ends in AR. Most AR verbs conjugate in a similar way. To learn how to properly conjugate AR verbs like hablar, please check out our Absolute Beginner series on SpanishPod101.com. Now, let's make this sentence informal. This is done by adding an S to the end of habla. When we do that, we get hablas. Altogether, hablas inglés, hablas inglés. This is the informal way to ask, do you speak English? The responses you receive could be one of these three. Sí, hablo inglés. Yes, I speak English. Sí, hablo inglés. Sí, hablo un poco. Yes, I speak a little. Sí, hablo un poco. No, no hablo inglés. No, I don't speak English. No hablo inglés. In all of these, hablo means I speak. In the last one, we have no hablo, which is the negative form. It means I don't speak. Now it's time for Lucia's insights. If you want to ask about a different language, just change the word inglés. Here are some language names to get you started. Italiano for Italian. Ruso for Russian. Francés for French. Alemán for German. Do you know how to say I'm sorry in Spanish? In the next lesson, you will learn how to apologize and more. Hasta la próxima. See you then. Hola a todos, soy Lucia. Hi everybody, I'm Lucia. Welcome to SpanishPod101.com, Español en 3 minutos, the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn Spanish. In the last lesson, we learned how to show thanks by saying gracias. In this lesson, we will learn some of the most common greetings used in Spanish. ¿Están listos? Are you ready? Empecemos, let's start. The most used informal greeting is hola. Hola. Hola means hi or hello. We can use it in formal and informal situations at any time of day. It's very convenient. Hola. Now, let's look at some greetings that are used at certain times of day. First is good morning. Good morning in Spanish is buenos días. Buenos días. Buenos días literally means good day, but we use it to mean good morning. During the day, we say buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes means good afternoon. This can be used all day as long as it's light outside. Again, buenas tardes. When it starts to get dark, you can switch to this. Buenas noches. Buenas noches. Buenas noches means good evening or good night, depending on the situation. If you're greeting someone in the evening, it means good evening. If you're speaking to someone before you go to sleep, it means good night. Again, that's buenas noches. Now, you can greet people in many different ways in Spanish. Let's review them all again. As a general greeting, hola. In the morning, buenos días. In the afternoon or during the day, buenas tardes. In the evening or at night, buenas noches. Pretty easy, right? Now it's time for Lucia's insights. If you're not sure which greeting is right to use, buenos días, buenas tardes, or buenas noches, just remember that hola can be used at any time of day. During the next lesson, you will learn the meaning of habla inglés. Do you already know it? In our next lesson, you will learn this phrase and more. Hasta la próxima. See you then.
my name is Rosa. Today we'll be doing the top 25 verbs in Spanish. So let's go. Ser, be. The first one is ser, which is the verb to be. To be is more related to who you are. Like, for example, I am Rosa, yo soy Rosa, quiero ser una ilustradora. I want to be an illustrator, but I don't draw very well, so I don't know. Estar, be. The next one is estar, which is also to be. So you can use it, for example, if you are in a place. I'm in a café. Estoy en una cafetería. I am happy. Estoy contenta. The adjectives you use with estar speak of something like more transitory. But when you use the verb ser, the last one, it's about something more permanent. So, for example, yo soy Rosa, I am Rosa, and I will be Rosa tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. But, for example, it is cloudy, está nublado with the verb estar. It doesn't mean that tomorrow it will also be cloudy. Ir, go. The next one is ir, to go. So ir is an irregular verb, so the conjugation is a bit different. I am going to do something. Voy a hacer algo. Venir, come. The next one is venir, which is come. He comes at 7. Él viene a las 7. And that means that he comes to this place where I am now. Tomar, take. The next one is tomar, which means take. You grab something. ¿Tomas algo? Yo tomo mi botella de agua. I take my bottle of water. Comer, eat. Well, I love this one. The next one is comer, which is eat. I like eating too much. Me gusta comer demasiado. I love also like sweet potatoes. Usar, use. The next one is usar, which means use. Ropa usada, used clothes. Uso mi teléfono. I use my mobile phone. Yeah, I bought it yesterday. I use my ears to listen. Uso mis orejas para escuchar. Where I live is a very small city, so I don't use a car. No uso un coche, but I use my feet. Uso mis piernas. Querer, want, desire, love. So the next one is querer, which can be translated as want, desire, love. For example, I love you is te quiero. But for example, you can also say, I want an ice cream. Quiero un helado. I want to be a singer. Quiero ser cantante. Yeah, I like singing too. Hacer, do. The next one is hacer, which means to do. So you can, for example, do your homework, hacer los deberes. You could also translate it as make. We don't differentiate between do and make in Spanish. For example, if you make a soup, you could say hacer una sopa. I look like a witch. Exercise. You can say hacer ejercicio. Tener, have. The next one is tener, which is to have. I have friends. That sounds so sad. Tengo amigos. I have a dog. Tengo un perro. I have to eat more vegetables. Tengo que comer más verduras. Haber, have, has. So the next one is haber. So for example, you can use it as an auxiliary verb, as you do in English. I have done this. Yo he, from the verb haber, hecho esto. You can also use it by itself. There is. Hay chocolate en el armario. There's chocolate in the cupboard. Gustar, like. The next one is gustar, which means like. I like you. Me gustas. Me gusta pasear. I like going for a walk. Dar, give. The next one is dar, which means to give. I give you my favorite book. Te doy mi libro preferido. I like a lot Haruki Murakami's books. You can also say te doy las gracias. For example, if you want to give a present, you don't really know what to give, you can give them a box of chocolates. Tú das una caja de bombones. They'll be happy receiving them. Trabajar, work. The next one is trabajar, to work. I work as a secretary. Trabajo de secretaria. I work a lot. Trabajo mucho. Oír, hear. The next one is oír, to hear. you are receiving sounds, but it doesn't mean that you are like paying a lot of attention to that. I hear the birds when I wake up. Oigo a los pájaros cuando me levanto. Escuchar, listen. The next one is escuchar, which means to listen. So in this case, you are like paying attention to that you're hearing. I like listening to music while I study. Me gusta escuchar música mientras estudio. Hablar, speak, talk. The next one is hablar, which means to speak and talk. I speak Spanish, hablo español. I talk to my friends, hablo con mis amigas. Antes tenía el pelo muy largo, pero un fin de semana se me fue un poco la cabeza y decidí pegarme un tijeretazo y ahora tengo el pelo así bastante corto. Ver, see, understand. The next one is ver, which means to see and understand. I see you, te veo. Veo esa serie todos los días. I like watching that series every day. Mirar, look, watch, consider. The next one is mirar, which can be translated as look and watch and consider. Mirar something, it means that you are like consciously paying attention to that. I like watching people passing by. Me gusta mirar a la gente pasar. Poder, can. The next one is poder, can. Yes, we can. I can jump very high. Puedo saltar muy alto. I can eat very spicy food. Puedo comer comida muy picante. Decir, say, tell, call. The next one is decir. So, for example, she said it was okay. Ella dijo que estaba bien. Always say thank you. Di siempre gracias. Oler, smell. The next one is oler, which means smell. It smells bad, huele mal. I love smelling jasmine. Me gusta oler las flores de jazmín. Sentir, feel, experience, perceive. The next one is sentir, which is feel, experience, perceive. I haven't slept much, so I feel a bit tired. Me siento un poco cansada. Dejar, leave. The next one is dejar, which means to leave. Dejo la llave aquí. I leave the key here. Necesitar, need, require. The next one is necesitar. Necesito ropa nueva, which is not really true. I need new clothes. I need to eat just after waking up. Necesito comer justo después de levantarme. If not, I will get like very grumpy. Yep, this is the end. I hope you liked this video and you learned a lot with these top 25 verbs in Spanish. And please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.
Remember, here's what you can do to learn all of these words by heart. Drill these words with our spaced repetition flashcards, which will help cement these words into your long-term memory. Save them to the Word Bank, your personal vocabulary collection, where you can print out your own study sheets, or review the words with our looped vocabulary slideshow, and play it until you know all of the words. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to get these lessons and study tools.